Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today is going to be the day where we are putting the Evo 10 motor back into the car. So if you guys saw that video a few days ago where we got the full motor built, if you haven't seen it, go check it out if you want to watch like a super long video. But motor's all done. We got to pull the Evo. It's sitting out behind the shop. We got to get the car into the shop. We still have to get the motor and the tranny together. We have to get my new clutch on first, which is a competition stage 3 clutch. I hope it's better than the spec stage 2 I was running. We should get the car up and running, maybe not today, but for surely this week sometime. I'm gonna guess tomorrow in tomorrow's video. We should get the car up and running. So I think I have everything here to do it. It's gonna be a very long process. So guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. So we got the car in the shop. I have the motor here, the transmission. What I'm gonna do is get out the engine hoist, get the motor off this engine stand. We need to get the motor and the tranny connected, but before I do that, we're gonna be throwing on the competition clutch onto this motor along with the flywheel. There are a few other things we can throw on the motor too. I already have the water pump on. We can throw on the water pump pulley and just a bunch of other little accessories that are gonna be easier to get on when the motor's outside of the car. But as soon as we get all that done, motor and tranny are gonna go into the car together. The first thing to worry about usually when getting the motor and tranny into the car, we need to get this transfer case connected to the transmission. So it's pretty easy to do. There's 3 bolts on top, 3 bolts on bottom. There's some splines right here that have to connect onto the transfer case. So make sure you guys get those lined up. And I'm gonna have the motor and tranny on the engine hoist the whole time while I'm connecting that. And then we can get some of the motor, or pretty much all of the motor mounts on. So this is what it currently looks like right now with no motor, no transmission, just completely bare and empty. It's pretty wild looking. All right, guys, here is the current situation. We have the motor and tranny together with the new clutch installed. We got the car jacked up in the air. I'm gonna be sliding the motor and tranny under the car together and then lowering the car down a little bit, hooking up the motor and tranny to the engine hoist and lifting it up in there. Hopefully all goes planned. That's exactly how I pulled it out. I think last time I put it in, I went in from the top, but this time I'm gonna try the bottom and see which way is easier. Motor, tranny, transfer case, everything is in the car. Transfer case is hooked up back there, as you can see. 3 bolts on top, 3 bolts on bottom. Motor mounts are pretty much all in. We still have the bottom motor mount to get on, but I'll probably do that like very last. I think I'm gonna work on getting everything on the front on. We do have the AC compressor on, so I'm gonna work on getting everything on the front, and then I'll probably move to the back. I'll probably do front and then that side, meaning like the shifter cables and all that good stuff over there, and then the turbo kit. So things are coming along. It's a long process, but the majority of the work is done with that motor and tranny in the car with the transfer case hooked up. So this is currently where we are sitting. Pretty much the whole front of the motor is on the intake manifold. All the wiring, a lot of the wiring for the most part, is on. Fuel rail, injectors, pump, alternator, all good to go there. Tranny is all hooked up, all the wiring there, the cables. We need to get the turbo kit on. We need to get the whole front of the car on, so the radiator, my bent up AC condenser that I hope I can bend back. That was pretty not cool that happened. We're getting there, making really good progress. We should have this thing wrapped up pretty soon here. All right, this thing's pretty much ready to go. I just need to throw the fluids in it and the intercooler piping, and we should be ready for the first start. The training fluid I'm using is the Red Line Cocktail, and then I'll be using AMSOIL 30-weight break-in oil for the first couple hundred miles. The car is all complete. We were having a really bad coolant leak. It's from the pipe that runs over from the water pump to the thermostat housing. Where it connects onto the water pump, there's a little aluminum flange with 2 nuts on there with a metal gasket that kept leaking. The flange ended up being bent somehow, so I had to pull that all apart and get it fixed. So it's actually the next morning. The car's all good to go, not leaking any coolant. The oil's full. We got the intercooler piping on, the intake on. Next thing, and the very last thing to do before we fire this thing up, is to kind of prime the oil system on the car. So what I'm going to do that is pull the fuel pump relay and pull the crank position sensor off, and just crank the car over probably 5 or 10 times and try to get some oil moving in the motor, and then we can plug everything back in and hopefully start it up for the very first time. Everything's all good on the car though. Everything's checking out. It's sat overnight. There's no leaks or anything, so we should be good to go to fire it up for the first time if all goes well. All right, so I am completely lost with this car right now. Basically, it's acting like when you try to start a car without pushing the clutch. That's exactly what it's doing. Let me show you guys. So I honestly have no clue what's going on. I've been working at this car for like 5 or 6 hours just on this issue alone. Things I've done: I've checked over the relay, the starter fuse. Both of those are good. I checked the power going right to the starter. The main wire, the one that bolts onto the starter, has a constant 12 volts. The other wire, the small one that clips onto the starter, that's supposed to get 12 volts when you turn the ignition and like when you're trying to start the car, but that gets no volts at all. So I have no clue what is causing that not to get voltage. I think the only things that control that power right there would be the starter switch, like the ignition switch itself, the clutch pedal switch, the ECU, and I think that's about it. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I've reflashed my ECU, so I don't think it's bricked. My clutch pedal switch is good. I've bypassed that. My ignition switch should be good. I don't know why that would go bad. So I don't know, guys. I'm kind of at my wit's end with this thing. I spent all day yesterday fixing that coolant leak. Now I spent all day today trying to get the thing running, and I cannot get it to go. So if anyone knowledgeable has any good suggestions as to what to check next on this thing, I'm thinking maybe an immobilizer issue, like somehow when the battery died, it like triggered the immobilizer, meaning it's not going to allow the car to start. But I'm not exactly sure how to go about that. I have to do some more research. But if anyone has any suggestions, guys, please let me know in the comment section below if you know what, if you have a good idea as to what is going on. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here just because I'm getting so freaking tired and pissed off working on this car. I gotta clean up the shop. It's a complete disaster, and I gotta go help Bobby with some stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sucks we couldn't get the new car or the new motor running, but I think next video we should have it up and running as long as we can figure out what's going on. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.